Hello and welcome to Never Heard, the show where I review classic albums that I never got around to listening to. But this week I brought along a friend. He is a producer, a DJ, a visual artist, a skateboarder, and the curator of Thirsty City Records, and all around just a good guy to know. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Northern Draw. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks, Free. How you doing today? Hello from Munich, Germany.
How's everything going over there? How's the weather?
The weather is schizophrenic. 1 week it's snowing, and then a couple days later it's completely sunny and warm. So I'm going insane. I'm really ready for the worst winter of all of our lives to be over any second now. So.
Also, in the intro, I mentioned all your hyphens, all your slashes. Is there anything that I missed? Other thing that you do that I don't know about?
I can't even keep track of them myself. So I think I gave up. And thank you. I just call myself an artist because I like to do, I don't like to limit myself to one thing. Whatever pot I keep my fingers in, I keep life interesting. So
yeah, absolutely, man. It's great. So the album that we're talking about today is House of Pain's debut album, Find Malt Lyrics. It's actually a self-titled album, but in the subtitle
or Find Malt Lyrics.
Yeah, but I don't know why they did that. It seems very confusing, but whatever. So you haven't heard this album, and I actually have never heard this album either. So first question I gotta ask, why have you never heard this album?
Why have I never heard this album? I will admit to your listeners, thank you for letting me on your show and to your viewership, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am not an Everlast fan. I actually did not know that Everlast was in House of Pain until you asked me to do this interview. So it shows how much I know about this MC. And as a reference of my age, I remember being in middle school and the solo album single of whatever Everlast's song was. I forget what it is.
What It's Like? The
What It's Like.
Rock?
I think that came out when I was in middle school, and I was like, who is this guy, Everlast? And I just now bridged the dots. Everyone knows the track Jump Around. It's a party banger. And I must give a shout out. I'm on the Instagram heavy, and I was looking at Sir Froderick's shop in San Diego, a wonderfully curated hip hop shop. Sir Froderick had posted this album. And I was like, man, I've never actually heard the album, but everyone knows this song. And, I've played the song out many times DJing, and it's a house banger. It's kind of on the level of like DJ Cool, Let Me Clear My Throat. You put those kind of songs on and the whole place goes wild, right? And then I'm looking at the album cover on Instagram and I see the like Irish flag and the shamrock. And I'm like, well, what is the deal with this group? So that's what interests me in it. So why have you not listened to this album?
I haven't listened to this album because I'm a little older than you, but I was a kid when this came out. I was 12 when this album came out. And I guess it's just not most of the people that I know that listened to this album were not hip hop fans. They were mostly rock fans that heard this. Well, I guess this is code for white people. This is mostly like.
Can I pause you 1 second?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to let everyone know there's going to be probably some racial stuff in here, that some demographics of market, if I might say. And for all your guys' references, this is all Wikipedia that I'm all about to spit. So this is nothing. It's all Wikipedia that I read. So there's no book or anything that I read. It's all speculation.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like most of my friends, most of my black friends didn't listen. Like, this is not a group that people listen to. It was mostly people that didn't listen to hip hop. They were like, saw something that they thought was interesting. They're like, oh, you can mosh to this. Like, this is 92. Right. So like, you don't have to know how to dance. You don't have to like have any like real rhythm. You just jump. You can literally jump around.
Just jump around.
I'm not going to front like I don't know every word to jump around. But like, they're just not a group that my friends were really listening to. So it just kind of like passed by me. So that's why I know.
I read a Rolling Stone review of the album, and I think it said like, it's like a Beastie Boys album, but lower middle class that you can get drunk to and jump around to or something like
this. That's actually the source.
That was the source.
Yeah, that was the source. They got 3.5 mics in it.
Yes,
album?
yes. For my evaluation, I give it a strong C. Maybe a B minus. Maybe a B minus. How about you?
Yeah, I'm in the
On the
same
letter
camp.
scale? Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. There are moments where I'm like, oh, he's he's pretty dope MC. He's pretty good. And then like the
Yeah.
next song will be like,
Ooh.
okay.
Yes, I think myself, I was in a little bit of House of Pain just listening to this album. But there are the moments. Okay, so take a step back to the white hypothetical marketplace of, hindsight is 2020, right? I feel like rap music has gone a long way in the last 20 years. But that's what I thought initially, is that like, they're really pushing this Irish pride thing, and it's very much like almost a gimmick, maybe not, but they were on this was released on Tommy Boy Records. So were they trying to do something similar to like a Vanilla Ice, or I don't know, like what were some other Caucasian rappers at the time, like Third Base or something? Yeah. I think had like a Caucasian rapper. I mean, I don't know. Were they trying, or Beastie Boys, right? Beastie Boys. Like,
Beastie Boys actually
were pretty big. So were they trying to do a Def Jam, Beastie Boys, reincarnation or something like this? But stylistically, overall, I could definitely sense a lot of Cypress Hill. I felt like Everlast sounded a lot like Be Real, because he's homies with them. And almost even the beat style, kind of like a Public Enemy kind of vibe of like braggadocio and upfrontness.
Yeah. Yeah, from a production standpoint, like it's pretty clear, like Muggs produced like half the album. And it's pretty clear that he was a big fan of the Bomb Squad. Just the sound, like even in Jump Around, that horn sound is very Hank Shockley-ish. Just like he
it
does
kind of
that
reminded
a lot.
me. It reminded me of like I said, like a Public Enemy track, or almost like a Critical Beatdown, Ease Back or something like that. That horn, that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. For years, I assumed that they were from Boston. I wouldn't even know that they were from the West Coast. Like I had no idea for years that they were even from LA. Like I had no idea.
Right.
I just assumed, oh, they're Irish, they're white, must be from Boston.
So
and that video.
Apparently, I didn't see any videos, but apparently, according to Wikipedia, that they went to high school with Ice Cube. And during the Taft.
I know exactly where Taft is. I used to live in Woodland Hills, so I know exactly where that high school is. And I don't know if they. I mean, Ice Cube and Eazy-E had to be a little older than them, I think.
This, like I said, this is according to Wikipedia. There's an Everlast quote saying that he was like actually in those studios when they're making NWA albums.
Oh, well,
but also DJ Lethal was actually not Irish. He was like Latvian or something. So he was definitely faking the funk, but
Well, he didn't rap. He didn't say he was Irish.
He didn't rap, and the album went multi-platinum or something. So. Whatever.
Yeah, and DJ Lethal has a weird history in music between House of Pain and Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit, right? So this is bridging the gap, bridging the gap for the rock artist, like you're saying. He went on to be the DJ for Limp Bizkit, which is kind of hilarious because we're talking about marketing, right? We're talking about marketing rap music, and you could see that kind of lineage of that group into. I don't know what the era of rock is called, if there's even a name for it yet.
New metal, I guess, yeah. Was there anything that you liked about that? Like any songs specifically? Or
Right. So I have to give it up. So general statements. General statement. The beats are pretty tight. I like the beats. They're very basic, kind of boom bap, MPC stuff. There's a couple almost SP1200 sounding beats. They're like lo-fi. Loops. Like there's a couple like almost Del the Funky Homo Sapien sounding loops and cool scratches. I like the scratches. I felt like the emceeing, there's a couple moments, it's all right. With that being said, favorite tracks, Jump Around, the Pete Rock remix, because it's Pete Rock, with or without the verse, and the Be Real track, because I like Be Real,
Put your head out, which is a phrase I've never heard before. Like I'll put your head out is not something that I've never heard anyone say before. But
Yo, Free, there's a couple moments in this album, I won't lie, I felt very uncomfortable and actually had to do some research. So there's a lot of stuff that didn't make sense. So like he drops the word peckerwood a lot, which I guess is like a derogatory term for people in the South, but also is some kind of like prison and street gang in California or something.
Richard Pryor is the first person I ever heard use that term, and he uses it to refer to white people. So it's generally a derogatory term for white people.
All praise Pryor, man.
Exactly.
The top of the pyramid. The top of the pyramid.
Yeah. So that was the first time I ever heard that term, and so that's what I associated with. I don't know about any street gang.
So I mean, this is more Wikipedia stuff that was saying that there's a whole bunch of Irish street gangs called Peckerwoods. They're all up and down the West Coast. So I don't know if he's referring to this. And then also there's a bunch of Mickey Mouse phrases where he's praising and shouting out Mickey Mouse. I don't know if that's also another like a street
that's Mickey's. That's
like one of his homies or something?
That's the beer.
No, but he says Mickey Mouse is in the house. He's talking about Mickey's the beer?
Yeah. That's what they call it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense, you know. And you know, out of all the malt liquors during that era when you could still buy 40s in a glass bottle, I think I drank Mickey's the most. Maybe an OE person, but I could still see myself drinking a Mickey's every now and then.
Yeah. Too bad you couldn't find one for the interview.
No.
They'll
my local beer. No, my liquor. I think they would probably ban that and go crazy over here. They have like a 500-year-old beer purity law or something in Germany. I'm about to drop a bar if I can find it. It might be, actually, I don't think this is the right song. I wrote it on All My Love, but I don't think that's right. He says, my girl's on the pill so I can drill and not have to kill an unborn child because that shit is wild. While at the same time, he's very Catholic. He's very Irish Catholic, no abortion. Yet, he still wants to bust a cap in that ass. There's many references to having a gun and shooting people all the time. He doesn't want to kill an unborn child. So, sorry.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You could point out the hypocrisy of a million different rappers. So.
True. So with that being said, though, as of Everlast's rhyming pattern, very braggadocio, lots of gun talk, lots of degrading women. My rhymes are the shit, you ain't the shit. He uses, you get played like Sony once, and you get played like Sega in another song. And I think that's about the extent of his rapping capability on that album.
Yeah, well, my feeling is that like he's like slightly above average, but he's not exceptional. Like it's fine. Like when I hear him, I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, he's not whack, but I'm not like I'm not rewinding. I'm not like, oh, like there's no moments where I'm like, oh, rewind that. What did he just say? Like it's fine.
Very, very straightforward. That you don't have to really connect the dots on too much of it and try to figure out anything in his verses. I think that kind of goes with like the style of what was at the time, and like I said, he was rapping a lot with Cypress Hill and kinds of sounds like Be Real a little bit, where it's very like braggadocio, and it was an era of hip hop where it was very like gangster rap was super popular. You know
the connection between Crisscross and this. The jump?
I do not know. Oh.
So at the end of Jump Around, he says Joe Nicolo can get the Bozak at the end of the song, like at the very end of that. And apparently, like he was the like CEO or some executive at Rough House Records, and apparently they played him Jump Around, and he was like, "Nah, I don't like it." He was supposed to sign him. He's like, "Nah, no." And then, a year later, he puts out a Crisscross album on Rough House, and they have Jump. So that's why he disses him at the end of the song.
It's a slight biting technique there.
I don't know. I mean, like, maybe it was a bite. Like, I don't know. It's not like they're the first people to ever make a song called Jump, but
True.
I don't know. But, like, he disses him at the end of the song. And for years, I had no idea what he was saying at the end, actually. But, that he just, like, did an interview, like, recently within the past few years where he actually explained what that was. It's like, oh, okay.
So
He's
speaking of disses, I think that was the only information I really knew about Everlast was the beef between him and Eminem. I think that preceded his whole career because I didn't even know that House of Pain was Everlast. So I don't know anything. So I don't know. No disrespect to the gods, I guess, whatever.
So, but you knew the song "Jump Around." I'm assuming.
Of course. But do you
know
anything?
But you just didn't know that was Everlast, right?
No, I didn't know that was Everlast. I mean, I knew that. I knew that it was the crew, and I mean, I've never listened to their other albums either. But I also do like the name House of Pain because it's taken from an H.G. Wells book, Island of Dr. Moreau, and they sampled a lot in the album. I remember reading that book when I was younger and thought it was really cool. So I think it's kind of cool they sample it and then throw it in the mix. The samples are tight. The cuts are pretty tight on the album. There's a couple moments of scratches that I stopped and I'm like, damn, that was a pretty cool, like, where did they get that in 92, you know?
Yeah. I think DJ Muggs is the MVP of this album, really. I think.
He produced the Jump Around track as well.
Yeah. If you compare, DJ Muggs' Jump Around to Pete Rock's Jump Around, they're apples and oranges.
Totally.
But let's say the Muggs version never existed and it was just the Pete Rock version. I don't think that song would be as big as it was.
No,
because
the Muggs version goes.
Yeah, because the Pete Rock version, I love it, but it doesn't make you want to jump around.
No, it's a Pete Rock. It sounds like a Pete Rock track.
Yeah, you have to have a little rhythm to dance to that, to like nod your head a little bit, like it's funky.
Yeah,
but like it wouldn't be played in stadiums.
True. It does carry a lot more than most other beats on the album. Besides, I think I agree with you that the Jump Around track, like I said, it's a banger. There's a second remix. I don't know which version of this album you heard, but there's a remix of like the Shamrock track that I tried to listen to.
Oh, yeah.
It was very like new metal-ish kind of remix.
It was Butch Vig's version.
Not feeling it.
That right. Yeah, but do you know who that is?
I don't.
He is the producer of Nirvana's Nevermind. That's what he's known for. And he is also a member of the band Garbage.
Well, thank you for informing me. He's also not known for that remix, in my opinion.
Yeah, not a great remix, but he tried. He did what he could.
Yeah. So for you, what were your favorite songs, and what stood out to you?
I'd say Top of the Morning. I think like his flow on Top of the Morning to You is pretty dope. But then like the following song, House and the Rising Sun, was like, like what happened? Like what happened between those two songs? Like one song, like it's just weird. Like he'll have a pretty dope flow with some lyrics on one, and then the next one is like meh. And it's kind of weird. Like on the song All My Love, he makes references to Islam. I'm just like, is he really?
Right. I noticed that a couple of times. That another thing I found interesting. But the All My Love track was one of my follow-up tracks I actually liked because I really like the beat a lot. But the beat's it's like the beat comes in pretty cool and then it gets really hard. He starts rhyming really hard and then goes to like the chill beat again. He kind of gives the shout out track at the end.
Yeah.
I just kind of like that like really chill loop. And he gives the shout out to like Zulu Nation and like the Nation of Islam or something. He does that a couple of times in the album. I think that was another like note that I had written. Let me find it here. It was in Life Goes On, I think, which I thought was this is for all the conspiracy theory heads out there. It said, "Do you know about the science of creation, about the nation?" Do you know about the science of creation, about the Masons, about the Nation of Islam, and Assalamu alaikum, on the 33rd degree, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. It was like, okay, so you're talking about some Freemasons and the Nation of Islam in the same rhyme, like.
And that also sounds like a very East Coast thing to talk about. Like I don't know if that was a thing on the West. So like that didn't. I mean, maybe it was. I guess like Ice Cube was into that stuff too. But still, it just seems more like a 5%er. Like I think of like Brand Nubian when I think of like East Coast thing. Also on that song, he says, "I got more styles than Son Doobie's got porn," which is very ironic. It's a very ironic line.
Yes, but Son Doobie's on the album, right? He's like the funk doobiest cat that's on the album.
That's why there's a song called "The House and the Rising Sun," because house, Son Doobie,
I gotcha. I follow.
Yeah, and then a few years later, Son Doobie does a porn.
I did not know that.
Oh,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
It's just a very odd footnote in hip hop that like there's a rapper that became.
I watched a completely related but not related. I think I watched an interview with DJ Premier and how he has a massive porn collection too or something. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I have a huge porn collection.
Yeah, I think him and Kanye like are friends. Like that's how they connected over porn. I think
they had a good viewing party.
Sounds about right. Yeah, sounds about right. All right. So, is there anything that we missed about this album? Anything else we want to talk about before we?
I think we've utilized all the time for your listeners. This is probably enough to talk about this album.
Yeah, I don't think so. Would you consider this album a classic?
No. Okay. Sorry. I think a classic. Yes, please.
I would say the song, maybe Jump Around, just because. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's one of those things that like everyone knows. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But like, it's just one of those things. So I'd say the song is the album. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I missed anything.
I would concur with you, Free. I would say that the song carries the whole album. So in that sense, it is not a classic album. It's a classic song. It's a classic single. And, it has some moments. I wouldn't be in a huge hurry to go listen to this, but, right. maybe have it in the crates. If you got it on wax, it might be worth some bucks in the future.
Cool. All right. So before we go, is there anything you want to talk to the people about? Anything that you're doing now, or?
Yeah. Well, I gotta give you a shout. Thanks for like always including a lot of Portland heads. I watched a couple. I did my homework and watched some episodes. So thanks for always including Portland people. I got a project I'm working on that's actually going to come out in a while. It's still like in the initial phase. I'm working on with like a bunch of international rappers, but I'm heavily on Instagram at Northern Draw. I'm on all platforms, and to promote some stuff, I had a remix on this album. Is this straightforward? Mm-hmm. Album's called Bakoya, some remixes, and also I got a verse on this Kira Orwa. Oh shit. There we go. With my friend Lana Shea. So check those out. Cool. Bakoya and my friend D2.
So have you heard 5 Malt lyrics? Are you still bumping it to this day? I'm going to keep reviewing albums until I run out. Until then, we are 2 guys on the internet that don't know everything. Peace.